Hey guys, Seth here, and I don't really have much of a plan for this video. I mean, I have some things I wanted to do, but this is just kind of gonna be a random progress update, I guess, of what's going on with the motion rig and all that. I haven't had a whole lot of time to really use the rig that much, but the times that I have been able to use it, it's been kind of problematic. Been running into some issues with certain things and trying to sort out some kinks and stuff like that. And I finally think I'm getting towards the finish line. But I'll just kind of show over like some of the things I've been dealing with. I think I've talked about some of them in my last rig video. One of the main ones was the iRacing problem where it would freeze and stutter for like a minute and towards like the beginning of a session, and it would ruin qualifying, potentially races, and just made the whole experience terrible. It turned out to be an issue with either the AMD X670E motherboards or something with the chips. Basically, it was just like a USB like power setting in Windows, and once I turned that off, the iRacing issues were fixed. So that was a major one that was fixed, and thankfully that's good. Looking at the rig here, I did have to take off this sim panel button box. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it, but the buttons are only like registering some of the time, and it seems like maybe it's just got like a defect or something. But for now, that's off to the side. So I just have the Apex button box, which honestly I was just running the double button boxes because I have them. I think it is better to just have one. Either way, I really wanted the engine start just to feel cool on that one. But realistically, the CSX3 takes care of all my button needs, and the Stream Deck built that is inside the Apex button box takes care of everything else. So it's a little bit simpler, which I think looks a little bit nicer. I'm not too happy with the placement. I think that I want it kind of tilted a little bit more, so I'll have to play with that. So we'll see how that evolves over time, which I'm sure it will. I did put that red handle on the handbrake. I think it's nice that it ties in like the red of the quick release and the WinSim, although I don't know that if I like it. I kind of still really like the stock black one that matches this one. The other thing is that the seatbelt tensioner is not on, and that was a major issue I was having where it was constantly disconnecting and not being recognized. I thought it was just bad or a defective unit, but it actually turns out, you see here, I got it all opened up in the mess on the table here. I noticed the USB connection was kind of wobbly, so I took it apart, and then boom, yeah, it's not supposed to be like that. So I ordered some new connections. So I'm gonna try and desolder this one and then solder that, and I'm hoping the belt tensioner works fine because it's actually really, really cool. I mean, you almost don't need it because like with the side belts here, I have it mounted on the Surge platform. So when you're braking, the whole rig, moves forward, and it actually tightens up those lap belts. And you could also just mount the top seat belts to the Surge platform on the back and kind of get that same feeling. Basically, you won't get it as strong as what the belt tensioner is capable of. So I think it is still kind of cool to have it. And also you get a little bit more effects. Like when you're cornering, one belt will tighten on the right or left side individually. So like going up a Rouge, you kind of feel, tightness kind of switching between your shoulders, which maybe isn't the most realistic thing, but it is kind of cool at giving you a feeling like, you're moving and feeling G-forces. Some other issues I've been running to is I'll occasionally hear USB disconnects on Windows. I did have the SemiCube lose steering for like a split second in a Daytona race, and I wasn't sure if it was actually disconnecting at that moment if it was because of a disconnect or not, but it came back really quick. So I don't know if that was just a glitch or maybe a USB hub overload. Not quite sure of that one yet. I do know this LumiRank. This was definitely disconnecting all the time. I could hear it freaking out with the USB noise, and the screen was definitely freaking out. So just by switching the USB port, it seems to have fixed the LumiRank, and overall, I'm not really having any disconnect issues. But I think a smart idea might be to actually get this USB hub off the Motion platform. I'm thinking maybe if my cables are long enough to just run it underneath the rig and have it just like on the floor, or mounted to somewhere on the chassis on the bottom level. That way it's not being shaken about so much. I think I'm still going to test this out further to see if I'm still running into issues, but I think just for more reliability, not having the USB hub on the rig might be a better idea. And then also I have the shelf I put here in the last episode, I guess we can call it. And just today, I actually had to take it out because I couldn't get the garage door open and closed because the rig actually walked itself a little bit. I think it was the chicane in Daytona I was doing last night in the GTP cars. It was really kind of violently shaking the rig through that chicane. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this used to be at the edge back here, so it's walked quite a few inches. I was hoping the rubber mat would kind of stop that from happening. I've been playing with my motion profiles, trying to get it a little bit less violent, because honestly right now it is kind of a bit too violent, and when you hit certain curves or certain chicanes, it can get kind of really aggressive. And if it's walking the rig, that's no bueno. So definitely still some adjustments and tuning to be done there. Unfortunately, I've had to ruin a lot of my cable management and keep undoing work that I did, which sucks, but the rig has been an absolute blast to drive. The motion is so awesome. Everything is, it's just so cool. So I think it's definitely worth it, but sometimes I think maybe I should just get a VR headset and take off all the extra flashy junk and just make it as simple as possible, but we'll see. I'm no soldering expert. I've soldered a couple keyboards, fixed some random things in my time. Can do enough to get myself in trouble or get myself out of trouble sometimes. So we'll see. Hopefully this works. I don't really have any of the other proper soldering tools other than literally a soldering iron and solder. So I'm hoping I can clear out those old solder holes. Trying to pull the old broken pins out. I'm not quite sure what the professional way to do this would be, but I am a little concerned about too much heat and ruining the board. Okay, so after a god-awful long time, I actually got the new USB connector on. I just got to solder from the bottom. That was a huge pain in the butt. I basically just started clearing the holes with this tiny screwdriver head and putting some heat on the solder. There might be a better way to do that. I don't know. Like I said, not a soldering expert. I would be shocked if this thing still works. The amount of heat and crap I did to this board, I wouldn't be surprised if I need a new one. Alright, that was way easier. Let's see if this thing works. Oh my god, it still works. I can't believe it. After that absolute nightmare of what you could hardly call a soldering job, it looks like it's still good. Before this, I thought I was having like software issues with this, and it looks like it was just that USB connector. So I'm gonna put this back together, mount it back on, maybe do a little quick test drive. So I just noticed something here with this connector. When the surge pushes forward, whoops, this connection gets pushed here. So easy way for it to break that connection there, the USB. So gotta see about maybe finding a cable that's not as, doesn't stick out as far. Unfortunately, the only of that type of USB cable that I have at the length that I need, I'll have to do some digging and see if I have something that'll work. Otherwise, I'll probably just order another cable. Because I don't want to offset this. I don't want to mess up by, I want to keep the seat belts in line. So hopefully It's just a matter of, you know what, let me check the power cable now that I think about this. Is the power cable an issue? Kinda. Shoot. I mean, it is short enough. Maybe I have to offset it. Maybe that's just what I'll do. Let's check the USB here. I mean, that does work. And then, let's see. That much of an offset, does it cause any issues with the seatbelts? Great camera work, I know. I mean, they are 2-inch belts. This might be okay. Okay, so maybe I just run with an offset and call it a day. Now I feel like this is somewhat bad design, considering, like, this is all PT actuator, the tensionaris PT actuator. I feel like they should have accounted for that. I mean, I would say maybe the USB cable that comes with it is like a right angle. I'm not quite sure. I don't have the original USB cable, but even the power cable, I mean, when it's directly center, I can't even, it's butting up against here. But yeah, even the power cable is kind of at risk. Well, makes a lot of sense now why it failed, but it's fixed. All right, so I did quite a lot of laps at Road Atlanta in the Cadillac GTP car. Got a lot of hard curves and shaking with the motion going, and so far everything was perfect. I had no issues with literally anything. Belt tensioner feels really, really good. Like, honestly, it's worth it. It adds to the experience. Definitely pretty awesome. I have it to like the max setting, so when you brake hard, it pulls you hard. I have a video planned where I'm gonna kind of talk about the driving experience and show a lot more of the rig actually in use. But yeah, it's been pretty awesome. There might be a possibility that I'd be taking this apart, and part of me wants to either paint or get all the aluminum extrusion powder coated, but I'm not quite sure what color I would do. Like, black makes the most sense, but all of it's kind of, you know, scratched up now. If I do have to take it apart, I kind of want to make it a little bit nicer just to have that extra polish. Like, some color ideas I have is like a kind of dark British racing green, maybe slightly metallic, or like a dark metallic-y red, but part of me thinks it would just be kind of too much. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of, you know, should I paint it, should I powder coat it, or just leave it as is? And should maybe I even do like two-tone, like have a layer a different color, like, or make it try to look like some type of racing livery of some sort. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how things are performing now. There's still, you know, little details here and there that I'd like to make slightly better, but I don't know, it's just a never-ending thing. I feel like I'll never be fully satisfied, and I just want to keep making things that much more perfect. That's it. Kind of a shorter one. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys next time, and yeah, peace.